Today we're going to be learning about transformation, so I hope you got your thinking caps on. This is the very first lesson in pre-algebra, so I hope you're ready to go for this ride. Either way, you might as well be ready because it's about to go down. All right. Thank you for visiting. I am your teacher and facilitator, Dmath Professor. And y'all, you already know what time it is. Today we're about to learn about some transformations in geometry. Now, this concept could be a little broad, so I'm going to do my best to try to break it down in this video so that you can understand it and hopefully make it a tad bit tangible. Transformations is actually very simple. This is the process by which we move the location of a shape or an object, right? And so all your life you've been doing this, you just never knew what it was called, right? You know, when you take an object and move it from one place to the next, when you take an object and you pick it up and you got to flip it, when you take an object and you pick it up and you got to turn it around, whatever the case may have you, you've been transforming objects all your life. Today we're going to learn specifically what those things are. So a transformation is the act of moving one shape from one location to the other location. So I want to give a couple of examples. There are three ways that you can actually perform a transformation. The first way is called a translation. Now a translation is when you take an object and you slide it from one location to the next. You know, like when you're at the dinner table and you ask somebody to pass you the salt. They take the salt shaker and they slide it to your side of the table. That's considered a translation. They took that object from one location and then they moved it by sliding it towards your direction. That is considered a translation. That is the first way that we can perform a transformation. Again, a transformation is the act of moving a shape. And I'm breaking this thing down because I want you all to know that you can perform a transformation three different ways. The first way that I just mentioned was a translation. Now, the other way that we can perform a transformation is using what is called a reflection. Come on, y'all. You've been looking at a mirror all your life. Some of y'all more than others. Either way, whenever you're looking at a mirror, you're looking at a reflection of yourself. That is another way that we can perform a transformation. But to make it more tangible, let's look at it this way. Let's say we're talking about the same salt shaker. If I take the salt shaker and I hold it up in my hands and then I flip it upside down so that the salt can come out. Well, when I take the shape and I flip it, that is considered a reflection. A reflection is just another way for saying we flip or reverse an object. So when you're looking at a mirror, you're looking at the reversed image of yourself. That's kind of why, like when you raise your right hand, if you're looking at the mirror, it's actually the other side or vice versa. And again, just think of the reflection as a flip, okay? And I'm going to throw a couple of these examples in so that you all can check them out. But remember, a reflection is a flip. So at this point, we've covered two types of transformations. The first is a translation, and that's when you slide a shape from one location to the next. The second one is a reflection, which is when you flip a shape upside down or you reverse it. And then the last one that you all have been doing all your life, the last transformation is what we call a rotation. So think about it. You're in a room, right? You chilling, minding your own business. Fire alarm kicks in. It's time to get up out of the spot that you're in because clearly you don't want to burn. So what you do is you dash for the door. And when you get to the door, what do you do to the knob? You twist it or you rotate it. That is the other way that we can perform a transformation, is through what's called a rotation, right? So if we break it down, we're looking at three types of transformations. We're looking at a translation, we're looking at a reflection, and we're looking at a rotation. And again, a translation is when you slide, a reflection is when you flip, and a rotation is when you twist or turn. All right? So those are the three things that we're going to be focused on today. Now, I understand that in real life, we can't take those objects and use them in math, right? Like you can't take a salt shaker and put it on your paper and then try to do some mathematical complications or equations or something with it. It would just be weird, right? People look at you like you're crazy. So what we do is, instead of using actual objects in math, we use 2D shapes or figures, right? So in math, we use what's called two-dimensional figures. These two-dimensional figures you've seen all your life, right? So I'm gonna give you a couple examples of a two-dimensional figure. A triangle, a square, a rectangle, a quadrilateral. Now I know quadrilateral might be a little foreign to some of y'all, but it's a simple word. It just means it's a shape with four sides. So it doesn't matter, like it could be a square, it could be a rectangle, it could be a trapezoid, right? Either way, it's a shape with four sides. And then we use different shapes that we could put on a sheet of paper, and then we manipulate the shapes that way. So remember, in math, we don't use the actual objects that we use in real life. In math, we use shapes, and those shapes are known as quadrilaterals or polygons. Now, polygons are basically shapes that have more than one side. So if you think about a triangle, how many sides does a triangle have? So that's a polygon with 3 sides. If you think about a quadrilateral, how many sides does a quadrilateral have? Just talked about it. 4 sides. So that's a polygon with 4 sides. And so if we talk about a pentagon, that's a polygon with 5 sides. A hexagon, that's a polygon with 6 sides. I mean, I can go on and on about it. But just understand that when we go through this lesson, we're not going to be using actual objects. We're going to be using shapes. So let's do a quick review of the lesson to make sure that everybody's on the same page. So today's lesson is going to be about transformations. And transformation is simply the act of moving a shape from one location to the next location. And we could do that 3 different ways. The first way is through a translation, which is called a slide, right? When you slide a shape from one location to the next. The second way that we could do it is through a reflection, when we take an object and we flip it upside down, right? Which is the same thing as called a reflection. And then the third way that we could do it is through a rotation, which is when we take something and we twist it. Think about a doorknob with that one. So I hope you guys are ready for the lesson. This was just what we call a readiness lesson, an opener. And hopefully, your teacher, whoever that guy may be, is going to be able to take you through the rest of this thing. All right. I hope you enjoyed it. Peace out.